Okay, so today we're gonna dive into something pretty amazing and delicious. I think you'll agree.
I think so too.
Moroccan food.
Yeah.
Um, and we've got a lot of material
A
here,
lot, a lot to dig into.
a lot to dig into. About Moroccan food,
Hmm.
its history, all the different influences that have shaped the food,
Yeah, and the flavors.
the flavors,
Mm,
and everything.
Yeah, and just to kick things off, one of the things that really stood out to me, just glancing at these sources,
Hmm.
is just the global recognition that Moroccan food has received.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just loved by, people in Morocco.
Right.
It was actually declared the world's best cuisine
Oh, wow.
in a recent poll,
Really?
worldwide poll, and it was announced by Chef Gordon Ramsay himself.
Oh, wow.
So, that right there tells you that we're dealing with something pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, if Gordon Ramsay's,
Putting a stamp of approval on it.
yeah, putting a stamp of approval on it,
You,
that's pretty big.
it's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, so our mission here today is to really try to unpack what makes Moroccan food so special.
Yeah. Break it down.
Break it down for you,
Yeah.
our listener. Give you kind of a clear understanding of it
Yeah.
without,
A bit of detail.
overwhelming you.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
What is it about Moroccan food that makes it so, so globally celebrated, so unique?
Well, to understand what makes it so distinctive,
Mm.
I think it's really important to understand that Moroccan cuisine
Mm-hmm.
is kind of this incredible crossroads of history and cultures,
Okay.
right? The sources highlight this fascinating blend of Berber traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Arab conquest had a huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have this sophisticated culinary heritage of Andalusia,
Okay.
which was brought over by, people seeking refuge from Spain,
Okay.
and then even, more recently, a French influence from the colonial period.
Oh, wow.
So all of these layers
Hmm.
have contributed to,
Yeah.
the unique character of the dishes that you find there today.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, just as an example,
Hmm.
the use of the tagine,
Mm-hmm.
that iconic conical earthenware pot,
Yeah.
speaks to the Berber traditions of slow cooking.
Hmm.
And then you see like these intricate pastries
Right.
that often hint at this kind of Andalusian refinement.
Wow. So there's a lot of history on your
A
plate
lot of history.
when you eat Moroccan food.
Exactly.
And it's not just about who influenced it,
Right.
but it's really about how the food is prepared.
Exactly. The sources really emphasize
Mm-hmm.
the importance of fresh, high-quality ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
That's a non-negotiable aspect of Moroccan cuisine.
Yeah.
And then there's the strategic use of spices,
Right.
aromatic spices, and we'll get into, specific spices in a little bit.
Okay.
And then also just this emphasis on slow cooking methods.
Mm-hmm.
Those tagines simmering away for hours.
Mm-hmm.
It allows all those flavors to really meld together
Right.
and develop this real depth that you wouldn't get otherwise.
So it's really like a philosophy.
Yeah, it's a philosophy.
It's not just, like food to eat. It's really like,
Absolutely. It's about slowing down
yeah,
and really savoring the flavors and,
right.
letting everything come together.
It's an experience.
It is an experience.
Yeah, one of the sources actually described Moroccan meals as a celebration of flavors.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
And you can almost picture it,
You can.
Those vibrant tagines, the
Yeah.
delicate pastries, and of course you can't forget the mint tea.
Right, the mint tea.
Yeah. So let's talk about the spices because
Yeah.
it seems like the spices are really key
Yeah.
to the food.
They're kind of the foundation
Yeah.
upon which so many of these dishes are built.
Okay, so if someone wanted to start exploring Moroccan flavors in their own kitchen, what are some of the absolute must-haves?
Okay, well, the first one that comes to mind
Mm-hmm.
that you really need to know about is Ras El Hanout.
Ras El Hanout.
Yeah, and it's not actually a single spice. It's a blend
Okay.
of spices,
Interesting.
and it can contain up to 30 different spices.
30 different spices.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that each spice vendor might have their own, closely guarded recipe.
Oh, wow.
So it's
So it's really unique.
it's really unique, yeah.
Bullet.
It brings a lot of depth and intrigue to your cooking.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
And it's often used in tagines
Mm-hmm.
and other slow-cooked dishes
Right.
to give it that kind of complex aromatic profile.
Wow. Okay, so that's number one.
That's number one, Ras El Hanout.
Ras El Hanout. Okay.
Yeah.
What else should we have in our spice rack?
Okay, so other individual spices that you're going to want to have.
Mm-hmm.
are cumin and coriander.
Okay.
They're real workhorses in Moroccan cooking. They provide this earthy depth to a lot of the meat and vegetable dishes.
Okay.
And then there's cinnamon,
Okay.
which you might think of as just a sweet spice.
Right.
But it's actually used in both sweet and savory dishes in Morocco.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it adds this warmth and complexity to tagines and sauces. So the kind of sweet and savory interplay is really characteristic of Moroccan cuisine.
Savory cinnamon.
Savory cinnamon, yeah.
Interesting.
And then you also have paprika and saffron. So paprika, whether it's sweet or smoked, adds a lot of warmth and color to the dishes in saffron. Is very distinctive.
Right.
It's pricey, so it's often used more sparingly.
Yeah.
But it gives this beautiful golden hue to dishes, like tagines and rice preparations.
And what about like ingredients that aren't spices?
Oh, yeah. Well, like preserved lemons.
Yeah, preserved lemons.
Preserved lemons are huge in Moroccan cooking. They add this really salty, tangy, almost floral brightness to a lot of dishes.
Wow.
And then argan oil, which has that distinctive muddy flavor.
Right.
That's another kind of signature ingredient you'll see a lot. And then the sweetness of dates.
Right.
And the crunch of almonds are often used as well.
Okay, so it's really the combination of all these elements that creates that unique flavor profile.
The orchestra of flavors all coming together.
So, let's say somebody is listening to this. They want to experience Moroccan food firsthand.
Yeah.
Either through travel or by cooking it themselves.
Yeah.
What are some of the absolute must-try dishes?
Okay, well, if you're new to Moroccan cuisine, there are a few dishes that you just absolutely have to try. First and foremost, the tagine.
The tagine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it a little bit earlier. It's that slow-cooked stew, traditionally prepared in an earthenware pot with a conical lid, which allows the steam to circulate. So you end up with really tender meat, perfectly cooked vegetables, and it's all infused with those spices.
Now, there are different types of tagines, right?
Oh, yeah. There are so many different types of tagines.
Okay.
You'll find them with lamb and prunes, chicken with olives, and preserved lemon.
Okay.
There are vegetarian options as well.
So it's really like a whole...
It's a whole category of dishes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Okay, so then you have couscous.
Couscous?
Which is often considered the national dish of Morocco.
Okay.
It's made with steamed semolina grains, and it's typically served on Fridays. And there's a flavorful stew of meat and vegetables. And the sources emphasize that it's a really important cultural dish. It brings families and communities together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, this one I've always been really intrigued by.
Okay.
Pastilla.
Well,
because I love that sweet and savory combination.
Oh, it's so good.
So what's pastilla all about?
Okay, so pastilla is this incredible, crispy, flaky pastry.
Okay.
Traditionally, it's filled with spiced pigeon or chicken, almonds and eggs.
Okay.
And then it's dusted with powdered sugar and cinnamon.
Wow.
So you have this really interesting juxtaposition of like savory fillings.
Right.
In this sweet and spiced pastry. And the contrasting textures, it's just an amazing dish.
That sounds like a really unique dish.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, what else should we try?
Okay, so another one is harira.
Harira.
Which is a hearty tomato-based soup. It's full of lentils, chickpeas.
Okay.
And usually some tender pieces of meat, like lamb or beef.
Okay.
And it's very comforting.
Sounds,
and nourishing. And it's traditionally served during Ramadan to break the fasters.
Wow.
And then there's machui, which is slow-roasted lamb. And the emphasis here is really on simple preparation to highlight the natural quality and flavor of the lamb.
Right.
So it's incredibly tender and succulent. And then for a vegetarian option, zalouk is a must-try.
Zalouk.
Which is a smoky eggplant and tomato salad.
Okay.
It's often served as a side dish or a dip. And it's full of smoky, garlicky goodness.
Okay, so that's that's quite a list.
Yeah, there's a lot to explore.
Yeah, so beyond like the formal restaurant setting, Morocco has a really vibrant street food scene too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The streets of Moroccan cities come alive with these incredible aromas.
Yeah.
And there's just a huge array of delicious things
Right.
to eat on the go. And it's really affordable.
Right.
So it's a great way to experience the culture
Yeah.
and kind of get a taste of everyday Moroccan life.
Okay, so what are some of the must-try street foods?
Okay, so one that you definitely have to try is mesmen.
Mesmen.
Yeah, they're flaky, square-shaped Moroccan pancakes that are pan-fried until they're golden brown.
Okay.
And you can get them plain or served with honey or cheese. They're very popular.
Okay.
And then you have svenge.
Svenge.
Which are basically Moroccan donuts.
Moroccan donuts.
Yeah, they're crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside.
Okay.
Usually dusted with sugar. Really simple, but so satisfying.
I mean, who doesn't love a good donut?
Right, exactly. And then you have makuta.
Makuta.
Which are spiced potato fritters.
Okay.
Great for a savory snack. For something a little more substantial, you could try bisara.
Bisara.
Which is a fava bean soup.
Okay.
It's often seasoned with olive oil and cumin. And it's a very common breakfast food.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, especially during the cooler months.
Okay. And of course, you've got to have the seafood.
Oh, yes,
right.
absolutely. Especially given the coastline.
Yeah.
You know, the Atlantic coastline.
You have to try the grilled sardines.
Yes, the grilled sardines are amazing.
Yeah.
They're fresh sardines, simply seasoned with herbs and spices, and then grilled over hot coal. It's just this pure taste of the sea.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about the tea. Because that's a big part of Moroccan culture too, right?
The tea is huge in Moroccan culture.
Yeah.
Moroccan mint tea, or ete, as it's called.
Okay.
It's so much more than just a beverage.
Okay.
It's really a symbol of Moroccan hospitality. And it's a very deep-rooted tradition.
So it's not just about, like,
no,
brewing a cup of tea.
It's not just about, you know, throwing a tea bag in some hot water.
Right, yeah.
It's a whole ritual.
Okay.
It's traditionally made with green tea. Lots of fresh mint leaves.
Right.
And a good amount of sugar. And the preparation itself is really part of the experience. You'll often see it poured from a height into small glasses. And this isn't just for show.
Right.
This actually helps to aerate the tea, which enhances the flavor and creates this layer of froth on top.
Oh, wow.
Which is considered a sign of a well-prepared cup of tea.
So that pouring ritual is really like...
It's very visual.
Yeah.
And it shows the care that goes into it.
Yeah. So if you're ever offered mint tea in Morocco, it's definitely more than just a drink.
It's an offering of hospitality.
Yeah. So, okay. So for somebody who's listening who wants to really like experience this firsthand, where would you say are some of the best places to go?
Okay. Well, if you're looking for that really vibrant street food experience, I would definitely recommend Marrakesh.
Marrakesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the Jama El Fana Square at night.
Oh, yeah.
It's this amazing open-air food market.
Wow.
For a taste of more traditional cooking, I would recommend Fes.
Fridays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to try an authentic pastilla.
Right.
Chef Jiao is another great option.
Okay.
It's in the Rif Mountains. And they have amazing fresh mountain cuisine. And if you love seafood, you have to go to Essaouira.
Essaouira?
Yeah, it's right on the coast.
Okay.
And the seafood is incredible. Seafood tagines are amazing.
Now, one of our sources also talked about, you know, kind of experiencing Moroccan food in a more intimate setting.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So dining in local homes or riads, which are these traditional Moroccan houses with courtyards, can be a really amazing way to experience the cuisine. You know, Moroccans take a lot of pride in their home cooking, and they pass down recipes through generations.
Yeah.
So if you're invited to share a meal in someone's home, that's a real privilege.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to taste those really authentic flavors.
Yeah, so that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Look for opportunities to, you know, eat with locals.
Exactly. Look for cooking classes, homestays.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
So, okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here today.
We have.
We've talked about the historical influences, the spices. The must-try dishes.
All those delicious dishes.
You know, both on the street and in the restaurants. And, of course, the tea.
The tea.
So it's
The heart of Moroccan culture.
Yeah, it really paints a picture.
It does.
Of, this cuisine that's so vibrant and so celebrated.
And so rich.
Yeah, and of course globally recognized as, one of the best cuisines in the world.
Exactly, and that speaks volumes,
Yeah.
about, what's been happening in Moroccan kitchens for centuries.
So as we're, kind of wrapping up here, it really makes you think about how Morocco's location has really shaped
geography.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's been this crossroads.
It's crossroads of cultures.
Yeah.
For centuries.
For trade routes, for everything.
Yeah.
And all of that has influenced the food.
Right. All those cultural exchanges shape the cuisine.
So it really makes you wonder what other cuisines are out there that have,
similar stories.
Similar stories and similar kind of, rich histories.
It's a reminder that food is so much more than just fuel.
Yeah.
It's about history, culture, connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we hope that this deep dive has given you, our listener, a really good glimpse.
A little taste.
A little taste.
Yeah.
Of Moroccan food. And, maybe it's even sparked some curiosity.
Hopefully, yeah.
In you to maybe try it yourself.
Yeah, maybe book a trip.
Yeah.
Or even just, try some recipes at home.
Yeah.
So until next time.
Happy eating.
Happy eating.